And that whilst your purpose
that you've signed up to and we share together is to be your best in all you do.
And greatness can only be measured by the difference between before you showed up and after you showed up. If I look at the number of people whose lives have been transformed by your voice, that's how we measure your greatness.
She is the CEO of Fine & Country, West Africa, a real estate mogul, an international lawyer, a business leader extraordinaire. She typifies a rare find of a true achiever. And ever since graduating from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, she has blended the right mix of brilliance, hard work, responsibility, and focus into a global billboard of inspiring results. Tonight, we have the incredible privilege of listening to a woman, a leader, who has invoked results in corporate and commercial law, which is her primary profession, and real estate investments, where she's negotiated multi-million-dollar deals for high net worth clients. She serves the 1% of the 1% in that very, very prestigious industry. Baked to finesse by the highest and the best higher institutions of learning, this Amazon is an alumna of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where she emerged as the best graduating student in the 90s. And as a Chevening scholar, our speaker tonight graduated with a master's in corporate and commercial law at the King's College School of Law, University of London. She's also an alumna of the Lagos Business School, Oxford University, and most recently, the Cambridge George University, University of Cambridge. Ladies and gentlemen, I have had the great honor and privilege of being able to call her my sister. I know that when she speaks, I mean, one of the closest people to Tara, my lovely, adorable wife, is our speaker tonight. And so many times when she shares ideas with Tara and all of that, Tara plays them for me. And every time Tara says, she reminds me so much of you. I think that is one of the highest compliments that my wife pays me. Every time she tells me that myself and Udo Okonjo, in any way, and every time we speak, it's just the spirit is, you know, we can speak for hours with the intention of speaking for a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please help me honor this truly amazing Amazon in the person of Udo Marian Okonjo. We call her the Radiance Queen, guys.
Okay, I brought my own groove.
You brought your own groove, yeah?
I don't know if you can hear it, but I can.
I know, I trust you.
You can't hear it, right? I can see you straining. You know, life is not that serious, guys.
Bless your heart, bless your heart, bless your heart.
It is not that serious.
And thank you. You know, I shared with the people, Udo, I said, and I let them know how today was already earmarked as the graduation for a team of people that you're coaching, you know, and what you did by still accepting to share today was a huge sacrifice. And we just want you to know that each and every one of us, we don't take lightly that sacrifice that you made. It's such an honor and a privilege to have you. Thank you. And please just go ahead and share what's in your heart. You know, as especially as it relates to your own experience and how to build a premium brand in our industry. Over to you, my radio.
Awesome. It is exciting to be here. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Speak for Gold. I see all the amazing people. I see the energy. I totally love it. I love energy, energy, energy. You cannot speak if you have no energy. Life is energy, business is energy, premium is energy, positioning is energy. Your clients are energy. So if you have low energy, you are going to attract low value. Let's get that right? And I'm going to show you how and the connection, okay? So I'm loving those that I see their energy. I want to see it one more time. Just give me the energy. Awesomeness. I see, so I'm going to put on my glasses. This is how you know you're in the 50s. Exceptional, of course, but of course, I see IJ, I see Coach Beams, I see Dr. Chi Energy, I see Joyce, I love that. Joyce, do that again, I love that, I love that. Awesomeness, love it, love it, love it. You can always, always, always pick out the premium people by their energy. Yes, that's my inflection of Oprah, but that's actually Okonjo. I found that I love this. I love doing this. I love bringing me into every single stage. And I'm really, truly delighted to be here this evening. Fella, FD, Nation Builder, Extraordinaire. I've actually on my screen, I'm seeing everybody. So I've sort of moved me from, being central screen to the screen where I can see everybody. I love that because this is about you guys. This is about you. Fella has done this for you guys. 6 days of just incredible speakers, an experience. I know that Speak for Gold has been going on for a while. I remember going live with him sometime last year on Instagram. And I just thought, my goodness, if that's just 1 hour of the public presentation, only God knows what happens on the inside. And when he invited me to do this year, I thought, why not? What better time than this? I truly, honestly believe that we are in the season of what I call the identity economy. Is there anyone who's familiar with that? I mean, that's what has been dropped in my spirit for the last 2 years, but especially in the last few months and going into 2022. I tell you, we are in the season, we're in the zone of the identity economy. It's an economy where I believe that especially people of faith have the edge. We have a competitive edge because our identity is the real premium. Our identity is the real gold. So if you're not going to be speaking from the place of your identity, if you're not going to be speaking from the place of your power, if you're not going to be serving, because when I think of speaking, I know we are not just talking about speaking on stages as speakers, but actually we are thinking of speaking essentially as solution providers, as carriers of uncommon wisdom in whatever sphere of influence that we are called to serve. So whether it's as wives at home, as husbands to our wives, as fathers to our children, as senators, as advisors in the public sphere, as managing directors, whatever you are, speaker, consultant, coach, writer, whenever you are speaking, it's not just your words from your mouth. Your life is constantly speaking. Every time you show up and you wake up, you are speaking. The question is, what are you speaking? And from where are you speaking? Listen, it's a tough act to come on day 5, right? It's a tough act to come on Fela Durotoye's stage. Because honestly, when I was getting ready for this, I just said to myself, and listen, guys, I'm not somebody who diminishes my value or my life. I know my value. And yet I know that this platform carries incredible value. And so I was pretty certain that there's very little that I'm going to say tonight that you've not heard in one way or the other. However, here's one thing that I can guarantee you. Coming from Udo Okonjo's mouth, it is going to be unique. Unique to Udo Okonjo. If anything, the U in my name stands for unique, unparalleled, uncommon. And this is what I'm bringing to you. This is the starting point of speaking for gold. Understanding your uniqueness, understanding your USP. In business, we talk about USP. You know, we all know what it represents. Put that in the chat box, and then I'll tell you what my USP is. In business, when we talk about positioning, we talk about USP. Put it in the chat box what USP means in business, and I'll share with you what it means for me. Unique selling point, I see Coach Beams, thank you for that. Energy, I see it in the answers. I want to see more. Unique selling point, only Coach Beams knows this in business. Come on, guys. Someone says unique customer service, someone says unique selling proposition. Okay, unique selling point, unique serving proposition, unique selling proposition, unique selling point. Amazing. Okay, from where I see it, and when I teach this from the identity economy point of view, unique USP stands for unique storyline and philosophies, right? Every single one of us in this economy represents a unique standpoint. We represent a unique package. We represent unique perspectives, dimensions, histories. You know, I teach something called your high story, right? We all have a history, and that history is part of your high story. And so the idea of speaking for gold is that you must understand your high story. It's unique to you. It's like your DNA. It's like your print. No one, not even twins, have the same. When it comes to the storyline, what are your stories, your blessings, your lessons, the things that have happened to you? For me, bringing the fact that I, by God's grace, defied breast cancer 16 years ago. And therefore, in that storyline was possibilities in action, resilience, confidence to stare cancer in the face. I take that same confidence in my storyline. I take that same courage. I take that same possibilities in action, and I bring it into business. And so in business, we deal with off-plan real estate. Off-plan real estate is real estate that you buy sight unseen. Essentially, I am selling you, I am offering you possibilities that you cannot see and touch. Guys, that's the same mindset that you use to defy tough situations. You have to see your life in the middle of a difficult situation that you are going to rise above this. And so you take that storyline into the business that you're doing. Please stay with me. I'm going somewhere this evening. Okay? So you're unique, your storyline. So your uniqueness is all about who you are, how you've been created, your strengths, your weaknesses, you know, your passions, all of those things, right? That make you just different from your twin, from your besto, from your siblings, from your spouse, from whoever it is that you feel you are one with. You are completely unique. And in that uniqueness is your power. But that's not enough. Your storyline, the things that have happened with you, for you, around you, to you, it's important that we're paying attention. I know you know that, okay? The difference is how do you pay attention to it and what do you then do with it? I like to say, you know, sometimes people stay in the place of the story, my pain, my pain, my pain. Hey, let's start converting this pain to serious profit. We are going to template this storylines. We're going to extract the gold in it. We're going to convert it into our businesses so that they become part of our blueprint. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be showing you what to do and how to do that. But you've got to first know it. You've got to first learn how to excavate it. Okay, and then the P is the philosophy. Like, listen, guys, we all have philosophies. You are a function of the bundle of philosophies that you have lived with all these years. Yes, absolutely. Right? Your philosophies are what's driving your decisions. It's what's creating your destiny. So your philosophies drive your decisions, leads you to action. And guess what? In the end, what is a brand? A brand is your destiny in action. A brand is your destiny in action. Because here's the thing. Every day you are making a decision. In the midst of the crisis, you're making a decision what to do. You're deciding how to deal with your clients. You're deciding how to show up. You're deciding what sort of business to run. You're deciding who to play with, where to play, what kind of clients, what niche. You're deciding whether to close your business. You're deciding who to go into partnership with. You're deciding how to price. Every decision is a function of your philosophy. Your philosophy is your thinking, it's your values, it's your perspective. If you say that the recession, that there's no business, if you say there's a global pandemic and the market has shrunk, hey, that's your philosophy. It's going to shape everything. You guys begin to see how this begins to translate into business. You see how this begins to translate to where and how you function and how you operate in your life, in your relationships, and especially in your business relationships. Fine & Country came into business in 2008 at the height of a recession. Fine & Country was signed as a license for West Africa while I was lying on my, shall I call it sick bed? No, I will call it my possibilities bed, because that's what it became. I still remember, I can just see the picture of me lying on that bed in our room in South Africa, because that's where I went to do my treatment. And I remember in the midst of that, just going through the newspapers, because I still had this picture of possibilities. What is possible? Coming from a legal background for, maybe about just under 2 decades at the time, this is 16 years ago. I wanted to do something that gave me the freedom. I'd already been doing real estate. I'd come from working as a special advisor to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2006. I was 36 at the time. I just, tendered my resignation. Even though it was a prestigious job, I had the blue passport, i.e. the diplomatic passport, as high as it gets, right? At least within my sphere. I tendered my resignation. For various reasons, I just began to have this sense of emptiness in me. I felt I wasn't really making an impact. However, that became part of my storyline. The experiences, the relationship, the understanding of what the problems are, the challenges in our public sector, the thinking, the mindset, the people who are there, the rocks that need to be fixed. And that's contributing to my quest to ensure that I build a platform of possibilities. What is a platform of possibilities? A platform that I create wealth through business. I help other people to create wealth. I help people to see that they carry the potential to actually be part of the solution. And here, guys, solution is not speaking. Solution is not, it's not just advocating. Part of the solution is going to be when we got the cash in our hands. That currency is a currency of possibilities. When those elections come around, like, guys, listen, money comes in handy. So we want businesses that are profitable. We want speakers that are profitable, coaches, consultants, businesses that are mega. And so I transited from that, went into real estate. I don't want to go into that story because I want to do a presentation for you. I want to show you something to contextualize my story. But what am I saying? Your philosophies are shaping up every day and they are leading to your destiny. Your brand, guys, today, these days, people are like, I want to build a brand, the logo, what colors, what are the this and the that and the that. Hey, listen, guys, I want to tell you a secret that may burst somebody's bubble. I didn't set out to build any brand. In fact, for many years, when people said to me, you're a brand, I shrunk. Meanwhile, I had been taught branding from the place of the spirit. And I don't want to spiritualize this thing because I feel we get enough of that on Sundays and in various platforms, right? However, as I will show you very quickly, it's all spiritual. Profit is spiritual. Branding is spiritual. Your uniqueness is spiritual. Your philosophies are spiritual because, hey, guys, what are your philosophies? It's all in your mind. It's all in your head. We don't see it. I can't touch your philosophy. I can only see it in action. It's all spiritual in the end. Okay? So I learned branding from the place of the spirit, I say, as with a lot of things that I did in business. And I'll show you, the framework that I used to explain this. So over the years, I began to learn many things in business and just understanding that I, Okonjo, I have the power to create whatever reality that I want. That the reality around me, the reality happening to me is not the real reality. The real reality is the one that I choose to create. And so you begin to see where the idea of the philosophy comes in, guys. Your philosophy will sink you or raise you up. How you think will sink you or raise you up. How you think is what leads to your destiny. Your brand is your destiny in action. It's your daily decisions based on your philosophy. Many people, their crises, their challenges, their fears, their pains, their problems have shaped their philosophy. And so they end up thinking small, acting small, operating small, settling until they settle into oblivion. That's not you. And as Nigerians will say, it is not your portion. Yes, it's not your portion, but you got to do something about it. And that's why you're here. That's why you're brave enough, you're smart enough to be at Speak for Gold. Fella, thank you for doing this. As always, always, always doing the nation good. As far as I'm concerned, this is in addition to being a business, and I want to call it a business because as you'll see very quickly, this is one of the things that we do. We want to do this passion thing, serve, serve, serve. Like, listen, the Jews understand this stuff. They solve big problems and get paid big, okay? And I want to see that this stuff that is, because listen, the transformation that comes from coming to Speak for Gold, the transformation from coming to this sort of platform of possibilities as far as I'm concerned, the transformation you get from here, if you apply it to adapt your philosophy, honestly, there's no reason why you should not pay ×3 for what it is that you've gotten here over the last 6 days. Yes, I'm advocating for that. Maybe a deeper dimension. Who knows? I leave that with you, FD. For now, guys, give me a minute. I'm just about to get into my session. And I will take the next 20 minutes, well, like that's okay, and just share something with you. I want to share what I learned by the Spirit over the last 2 decades, I would say, and especially over the last 12 years, and how you begin to convert your USP, you begin to translate it, okay? And that becomes what you trade for value, okay? I want to show you that. I'm going to put my music on while I pull it up. Are we all here so far? I'm not going too fast. We're good. I said, Coach Beams, I'm loving your energy. Like, guys, I think I'm going to give a prize to the top 3, maybe 5, just like seriously energized people in this room today. Are you here for this? Just say you're here for this. You are here for this. And I have something that's on my spirit I want to play as I look for that. Just give me a second. Just write in the chat, I am here for this. Amazing. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I am so grateful to be here. I know that this is an appointment with destiny. I'm grateful for the opportunity and the privilege. Take all the glory, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Yes, Lord, have your way in this place. Yes, yes, in the name of Jesus. That's it. That's what it is. It's all about you. Yes. Hallelujah. Gonna share this. That's all I see, guys. I'm not interested in what you think about me. Let him take the stage. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Amazing. Okay. The glory. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, take your place, Lord. Yes, speak through me, speak through us. flow through me. Yes. Preach through me. Amen. Let your name be glorified. Amen. In the name of Jesus alone be lifted high. Amen. Amazing. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Let's do this. Guys, listen. Commanding superior value is the theme of this year's Speak for Gold. I personally weep. I cry. I know the pain of feeling like a failure in business, in whatever your endeavor is. I know the pain of potential that is unrealized. I know the pain of carrying dreams that you carry year in, year out, and you are not where you ought to be. I know the pain of watching others, as it were, release their own superior value, and you are watching and waiting and wondering, when will it be my turn? By the Spirit of God, I'm here to tell you that today, in the name of Jesus, that you will come into a new zone of possibilities. You are coming into a new place, into a new level of superior value. I decree it, I declare it, it cannot be otherwise. For as long as you are in this room, for as long as you have a willing heart, for as long as you are open to the possibilities that I know will be deposited over the next few minutes, I know for a fact that you are coming into something that is dramatically different. Positioning as a premium brand in your industry is the topic that I was given. Act. With all humility, I cannot think of anyone else, any other company that operates in the same zone of possibilities as I do, or as my company, Fine & Country, does, in the sphere of influence, in the niche where we have chosen to operate. It's not because I'm the smartest. It's not because I'm the most favored. It's because I'm the one who returned to document. I'm the one who listened, who heard, and who documented, templated, and began to transfer, translate, and to trade what I was given. Every single one of you, you have dreams, you have ideas, you have blueprints. It's being given to you on an ongoing basis. How many times do you stop to pay attention to them? How many times do we dismiss? How many times do we not pay attention to the things that have been committed to us as a trust? The first two layers of what I'm showing you here came to me, I would say, 12 years ago. It was purpose, power, possibilities. And those who are familiar with me, the first time I set up my website, I did it because I got a very clear message to be a good steward. And part of being a good steward was to have a place, not Facebook, not Instagram, where I could organize my thoughts through a blog and through a place where I could put things that I was working on, the ideas, the writing, the blogs. I've been writing a blog before it became fashionable. I've had a personal blog for at least 13 years. My blog reaches about 11,000 people. This is my personal blog, separate from Fine & Country's. It's the place of purpose. It's the starting point. What I'm saying to you is that for you to command superior value, remember what I shared with you, your USP. Your USP is domiciled in your zone of purpose. It's a place of life mastery. It's a place of beginning to understand who you are, what you carry, the gold that is within you, and not to take it for granted, even if 1 million other people seem to have similar things. You're teaching children leadership. You're teaching them how to set goals. You're teaching them values. And you think, oh, but wait a minute, there's 1 million people doing it. I'm saying to you, exceptional Ekwase, that you are exceptional. There is nobody else that has the unique ability to put those ideas in exactly the way Ekwase, with her background, with her intelligence, with all that she accomplished as a first-class student, as top engineering, top science, all of those things, with your ability to run, with the school you went to, with the family you came from, with the hardships, all of that is uniquely exceptional, Ekwase. And so it's important that you understand that and you never dismiss it. You never get familiar with it. It is the zone where you know who you are. And so I needed to understand, who am I? What is unique to me? What makes me stand out? Because it is in the place of your uniqueness that you begin to find what is authoritative about you. It is in the place of your uniqueness that you find what makes you golden, what makes you stand out. And so I want to show you that these 5 zones, these 5, they're not, I don't want to call them, they're not steps, they are pillars. This frames everything that I do. It's what frames how I coach, how I teach, and how I help people to create transformation. It's exactly how I have journeyed in my life. And so the base point is the place of discovery. It's a place of life mastery. It's a place, and it's an ongoing step until you pass into eternity. You are constantly engaging purpose at different levels and different dimensions. You take the place of purpose into the place of your work. The place of your work is the place of your power. So whether you're an employee, you are a coach, you are a consultant, you're a speaker, you're a senator, I keep saying senator, legislators, who knows, president, governor, whatever you are. The place where, I don't know if this is, it's not looking so clear on my screen, maybe because I pulled it to, can you guys see the small prints under each of them? You can, amazing. Okay, fantastic, thank you. Stephen, thank you. It's always good to see a guy also be supportive. Thanks, I see you, Stephen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lola. Right, so you move to the place of, so your purpose, many people stay at the zone of purpose, right? Where we're constantly talking about my purpose, my purpose. Your purpose is great, but guys, get off that train and keep it moving, right? Like bring your purpose into the place of your work and let us see who you are in the place of your work. In the place of your work is where you begin to demonstrate power. This is a place of your results. This is a place of excellence. This is a place of dominion. This is a place of taking territory, guys. This is a place of when you show up, you're the one who, gets given this assignment, or you're the one who's creating these unique solutions, right? It's the place where you come into an industry and you say, hang on a minute, guys, like, listen, let everybody else do single properties and apartments in Tedo or wherever, but me, I'm going to do Ikonia and Victoria Island. I'm going to do 20-story buildings. I'm going to do estates that have at least 100 units in them, because that's the place of high value. That's the place that is in line with my unique journey as a lawyer, New York attorney, Nigerian bar, best female law student, corporate and commercial attorney. Guys, listen, you have to get comfortable with your credibility trackers, because you're going to need it when you get to the profit zone. The reason many of us, many people who are on purpose, do not get to the place of premium is that they have not learned to curate these places of power, these markers of power, which I refer to as your credibility trackers, and be comfortable about sharing them in the right places, at the right time, in the right context, and in the right way. It's important. In your place of power is the place of excellence, as I said. So the question I want to begin to ask you is, as you look at purpose, begin to ask yourself, at the level of purpose, how are you doing? Are you clear what your goal is? Are you clear what makes you stand out? Are you clear? Have you ever gone through a journey where you actually dug in, did the deep dive of, as it were, discovering and articulating your uniqueness, your storyline, your philosophies? That whole thing is a whole journey on its own, because you're going to constantly need it throughout. It is where you determine your why. So that when you come to the zone of power at your workplace, when you refuse to take mediocrity, it's not because you mean to be a bitch, as some people may want to call you. It's not because you're difficult, because you shouldn't be difficult. You should connect with people. You should love people, especially if it's part of your values. But hey, people should not stop you from being excellent, because part of being Commanding superior value is excellence. Yes, like no management. I don't care where you're coming from. I don't care what the standards are there. Mediocrity is a full-blown opportunity. In the zone of power is where you begin to determine, I am going to operate at the highest level. So the question is, in whatever you're doing, are you operating in the zone of power? How do you do this? Do you have a template for what power looks like? And ultimately, do you have results? In the end, it is results that matter. Everything else is commentary if you don't have the results, okay? So let's move on very quickly. We then go to the zone of profitability. So here's the thing. A lot of people know, hey, I'm passionate about speaking, about teaching. I want to transform the world. I want to do this. Or, let's change the world. Hey, guys, if you're changing the world, if you're getting the results, and I'm not seeing the currency of cash here in exchange for your results, you haven't started yet. You haven't started. And it's not just about profitability, which in this case, we're talking now, it's promotion. I don't want to be promoted without the cash to back it up. If there's anybody who is in here who's been promoted and there's no cash going along with it, it's time for you to get to the table. In this zone of profitability, we're talking, you become an ace negotiator. You understand what to negotiate because you already know who you are. You know why you are in business. You know you're here to represent a kingdom. You know that you have responsibility to deliver returns. And that if the king comes tomorrow morning and says, hey, guy, where's my return? You have no return. He's going to take your kingdom and give it to somebody else. So it's important for you to learn the things that will enable you be profitable. Part of it is, do you have a mega client blueprint? A mega business blueprint? So those of you who are in business, whether your business is coaching or consulting, what is your profit blueprint? How do you make money? It's incredible to me when I sit with businesses. I can take an hour and I can show you how you can multiply your profitability by a minimum, I would say 10 times, but however, minimum, let's say you follow a certain blueprint and you're willing to make that commitment, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't make at least 100% of whatever it is that you're doing if you're willing to do what it takes. Do you know how many times we leave stuff on the table because we have no confidence, because we have no excellence? Do you know how many times we leave stuff on the table because we're thinking little, because our businesses are little? Do you know how many times we leave stuff on the table because we're thinking, oh, we just started. Well, hey, excuse me, you just started real estate. Well, you've been a lawyer for 20 years. Excuse me, hello, you. So you're now speaking, you're now coaching. Excuse me, you're coaching for 2 years, but have you not been a business leader for what, 30 years? Have you not been teaching for 15 years? Have you not been an engineer for this? And then you're speaking and you now want to charge very little because you just started speaking yesterday. Hello. And then most people think where they make their core money or where your core profit comes from, that's all it is. Most times, expanding your zone of profitability requires you to take on the eyes of possibilities. When we're told about multiplying, where does multiplication come from? It takes creativity to multiply something. So my question is, how are you doing in the zone of profitability? Here's the thing that I wanted to make sure I shared with you this evening. It's that you cannot serve mediocre clients and expect superior value. Neither can you yourself be mediocre, i.e. in the zone of power, your power is little, low, average, and then you expect superior value. So you're constantly going up and down those pillars. I came into real estate and I said, hey, I've been a lawyer, New York attorney, Nigerian this, corporate and commercial law from England, all of those things. But hey, real estate, I also want to be at the top. And so I went to the Dubai Real Estate Institute with the National University of Singapore. I did the South African real estate exams and the Oxford real estate program. In addition to multiple other real estate programs over time to deepen my mastery. The question is, many of you though are constantly deepening mastery, but you're not converting it to the zone of profit. You're not bringing it to the table of profit. You are bringing your small side and not your masterful side. You're bringing your small side, you're not bringing your mega self to the profit table. So as you deepen mastery at the zone of power, when you come to the zone of profitability, bring it to the table also. And so guys, let me tell you a story. In my industry, I mean, the clients that we deal with, you have to determine if you're going to command superior value, you're not going to get it, as I said, from mediocre clients. So do you have a pathway for mega clients? Remember that you yourself first have to have seen yourself as a mega person, as Nigerians would say, mega somebody, right? And that's why the purpose area is important. In my case, I know I'm called to be a kingdom financier. I know what I'm called to do, okay? And so if wealth is part of my purpose, do you think I'm gonna be playing around when I come to that profit table? When I'm speaking with clients? I want to serve them at the highest level, but at the beginning, you determine who you want to serve. Remember what I said, how you want to play, who you want to play with, where you want to play. So the problem is that we're in the wrong rooms. The problem is that the wrong people are seeing us. Have we sat down to actually ask, where can I get the superior value? What sort of clients can pay superior value in the real estate sector? Someone has one property in VGC or in Ikorodu or somewhere that they want to sell. Why can't they give it to their cousin, their uncle, their auntie, their sister, their friends? They can. It's just one property. The stakes are not high. But if you have a 20-story building, you're not going to give it to Musa, the driver. Right? And I say that because I had a steward at some point that I put in a property in BGC, and when the property was, the rental was up, guess what happened? He just put a piece of paper on the building and just put to let, and he let it. It's a low barrier to entry. Anybody can put a signboard and rent one property. Can you put the same thing on an estate of 100 homes? No, you need more sophisticated ideas. So perhaps you're not commanding superior value. You're not building a premium platform because of who you're serving, where you're serving. I want to challenge every single one of you. I spend a lot of time in this profitability zone because it is big, it is huge. My core work in my coaching practice is in the profitability and the prominence zone. It is where I know that most leaders need to be. Many people operate at the zone of they make money. Making money is not the same thing as the profitability zone. The first layer is that you get paid. The next layer is that you're attracting premium value. For you to do that, you have to have a mega clientele base. You have to have mega value that you're creating on the levels that is not common. The level where you become essentially not one of the options, but the option. I'm going to say that one more time. In my diary, premium positioning means that you are not one of the options, you are the option. Guys, I don't say these things out of, I'm not just talking. Words are spirit and life. Your words should represent your reality and your experience. Otherwise, please don't say it. Okay? Certainly not in this zone where we are in this Speak for Gold platform. So you move from the place of profitability, which is you are getting paid, and you're getting paid mega by mega clients because you're delivering mega value, and you are delivering that value in a way that is uncontested. As a matter of fact, more than ever, you are creating solutions that you created the problems for. You pointed out the problems. I love what Fela was saying. How, sometimes, see, the thing with profitability is that sometimes it's difficult for us to be as profitable as we get. Why? Because we're short-term thinkers. Because we're constantly thinking on the bread and butter level. We're thinking from a needs point of view, rather from a purpose point of view, leading to the place of posterity. And I'll explain what that means, right? When you're coming from a place of purpose, you've determined that, listen, I'm Okonjo, I'm here to serve whatever industry, whether it's legal, whether it's real estate, whether it's in politics, whether it's in coaching, whether it's in whatever it is, leadership development, right? That I'm going to be at the top. Why am I going to be at the top? Because I'm meant to be light. I'm meant to shine. I'm meant to be the one showing the way. I'm meant to be a reference point, okay? The reason I want to be a reference point is because I know the power of what influence is, okay? And I know that influence is a currency that is higher than actually cash, okay? And so that's why the prominence place is important, which we're going to go very shortly. But you first understand the why at the zone of your purpose. And you constantly keep that front and center. So that when you're negotiating whatever the value of the opportunity is, you are constantly doing it from a place of, I am answerable to somebody. And so in that place of profitability, I was talking about the small-mindedness and the short-termness. And so Fela was talking about how he goes into a bank, he's like, let me do this presentation for you. Because sometimes people hear these things where it's like, oh, ask your worth and add tax. Well, hello, you ask for your worth. Nobody yet knows what that worth is unless there's a demonstration of it, right? And in the right places, you can demonstrate it before you have been paid the value. Okay, and so being long-term minded for you to be able to tap into real profitability. The problem is that many people focus on cash flow. They don't focus on building assets. And in business, when I talk about mega business, I talk about 3 key types of assets that you build to build your profitability zone. One of them is you as a leader. Your leadership brand is an asset class. It has a value. It must command income. Your business brand is an asset class. In your balance sheet, it must have a value. And there'll be seasons where your cash flow may not be, exciting, but because you understand these pillars I'm showing you, and you are long-term minded, you understand the things you must be doing in the short term, but ultimately you're thinking from an asset point of view. Guys, listen, asset is wealth. It's not cash that is wealth, it is asset. Of course, your asset must convert to wealth, to cash. But many people can't create real assets because they're operating from the place of need. I know this is not too high level. I'm convinced about that. I just want to stop for 1 second because I want to wrap up now and just make sure that we're all on the same page. And I see you, my amazing sister. Love, love, love your book. Your Life is Calling. I hope everyone in here has gotten those books. And honestly, we have to connect in London, right? So listen, the profit zone is critical. My mom used to tell us this story about it. I want to say it in Igbo. For those who are Igbo, don't laugh, okay? It'll probably not come out very well, but it says, Ikpa losie lolo or toanafo. You know what that means? The person who is poor, when they finish thinking, it sits in their stomach. There's a part of the Bible where it also refers to something similar. What does that basically mean? It means, guys, listen, don't let your purpose end at the level of purpose. Don't let your stories, don't let your philosophies, don't let your values, don't let all these things that fire you up not convert to profit. Please, I beg you. The basis of your purpose and your power is that it must translate to wealth. And there's a system for creating that wealth. There's a thinking, there's a method for all of that. You must have the mastery. You can't have low-end clients and expect to charge them premium. Understand, you need the right kinds of clients. You also need the right sort of mastery. You also need the right sort of team. You also need the right sort of business model that creates you long-term assets. Some people will start some business and in 10 years, they will only have the value of their cash flow. Others will start a business and in 10 years, what they built, those asset classes I mentioned to you, one or two of them, they will be able to trade it into something. And it's you and the brand. Guys, listen, please. McDonald's, the brand is its own asset class, separate from the systems of how they make burgers. I hope you guys understand that. Oprah herself is an asset class, separate from OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network, separate from the business. I hope you guys understand that. So when I start and I say the identity economy, so you can have your products, you can have your services, you can have your businesses. I want you yourself to start thinking, what is your own leadership asset? So that you can begin to expand the zone. So that by the time you get to your 50s, your 60s, or whatever, and even before you get there, you have streams and you have asset platforms that you can convert into other things. How about prominence? This is where it gets really interesting, because I see entrepreneurs, I see business people, coaches, consultants, all of that stuff, who are operating, they're making money, currency, cash, cash, cash. They're not thinking of the zone of prominence. It is the place of authority. This is the place where it gets really interesting. This is the place where now you start thinking, how do I use my business? How do I use my ideologies, my philosophies, my purpose, what I believe in, what I want to spread around the world? How do I bring it, one, into business? How do I showcase it? Through the ideas that I share. So in real estate, we talk about inspiring confidence. A few years ago, we did a road show to London, the Refined Investor Series, which is one of the platforms that we use to establish prominence in our sector, amongst other things, right? And on that road show, we brought in inspiration, entrepreneurship, leadership. This is a real estate show. We brought in His Excellency Peter Obi. We brought in top real estate developers. We brought in people from the diplomatic corps. We brought in entrepreneurs, business leaders from the UK. Why? Because one of our core values is leadership. The other is inspiration, because we believe that life is energy and business is energy. So even though we're doing a real estate show, we want to connect people to opportunities, to possibilities, and to each other, and to celebrate business leaders. We have magazines, we have things that we use in the industry. We call them platforms of authority. And so when we work with leaders, we show them how to build prominence. The first level is thought leadership. But where I want us to get is the place of what I refer to as platforms of authority. And guess what's interesting? In real estate, when you see real exceptional properties above $10 million, they don't put the price most times. Guess what they put? They put POA. POA means price on application. The zone of prominence is the place where, guys, listen, they start calling you by application. And this is where I want to wrap. The posterity place is where you're leaving your legacy and you're already doing it from the place of purpose. You don't wait till you're 70 to be posterity. It's every decision you're making now is leading towards that. But I want to zoom in on this place of prominence. And to do that, I want to share a couple of things, what it should look like. Fela was talking about referrals. In the zone of prominence, where you've established thought leadership, where you now have platforms of authority, where you're showing up as the defined, uncontested, unrivaled, unparalleled leader in the zone and the space and the niche that you have defined for yourself. And ideally, it should be cross-sector, not just in your sector. The zone where you're a thought leader is the zone where you're operating only in your sector. You want to go beyond that at some level. Bear in mind, I know there are different people at different levels today, okay? So this is a framework, it's a journey. And so depending on where your leadership journey starts from where it is. When I start coaching, I normally start and say, do a rating, and we're going to do it at the end. Rate yourself, okay? On the level of purpose, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? 5, 6, 8? Power, where? Profitability, are you satisfied? Where? Prominence. And what I found is that most entrepreneurs, most leaders, they're struggling in the zone of prominence and profitability. It is where I love to focus. I believe that the whole idea of this platform in creating this theme for this year, Commanding Superior Value, is exactly this place of profitability and prominence. Because honestly, guys, the two go hand in hand. Okay? Many people talk about you want to be known, liked, trusted. Hey, I want to be paid. You want to have your results be recognized. You want your results to be respected. And the third is you want your results to be rewarded. I'm going to say that again. You want your results to be recognized, respected, and rewarded. That is the core framework in the profitability zone. Don't want to hear about your results if I ain't seeing the high value money you're getting paid. Guys, listen, in our industry, people do not get paid for giving advice. I do not get out of bed without getting paid for giving advice. And do you want to know the highest amount that we have billed for giving advice? Does anyone want to know? Say yes, I want to know, and then I'll tell you. You want to know that we billed? I want to see hands raised. I'm going to stop. I just want to be sure that, you know. And listen, if anyone is feeling like this room, man, how is too much, you got to leave this room now because I'm about to blow your mind. Yes. Let me drink some water, and perhaps you need to also get some water, because when I share this with you, you're just like, what? Okay. Like, listen, part of my USP is drama, a bit of it. And this is somebody who used to be so shy. I was so shy growing up. But honestly, when I began to receive this template, and I started to step into my place of purpose, and I started to understand who I truly am. Whenever I step into the zone of purpose, I'm no longer shy. I'm not bashful. My boldness comes out. And yet, you should see me in certain company where I'm not in the place of purpose. You won't believe it's the same person. And guess what I then do now? I keep out of zones that are not zones of purpose for me, because I always want to show up fully present, purposeful, powerful. I can't be powerful if I'm not in purpose. So I don't go to places, you know, where I'm not in purpose. I don't. Boom. I love that, Coach Booms, Beams. Okay, so what's the highest? Let me tell you, we were invited, and this is the zone of prominence. Remember I said prominence and profitability go together. Invited, we have this project, 200 hectares or 100 and something hectares in this location in Lagos. We want you and all of that. There were a couple of other firms that they had pulled in together, and we were the real estate firm, and they said, you know, come do this. And I remember sitting at that table on a Sunday afternoon with these consultants and the institution, you know, that was involved in this. And like, okay, so what are your fees? I'm like, we'll get back to you. You know, they're like, oh, but we want to. I'm like, okay, no problem. Of course, after going through the whole whatever, our fees on this transaction are going to be $1 million. Yeah. I'm in real estate, yes. And guess what? Someone laughed. You know, one of those kind of funny laughter. And I'm like, yeah, laugh. I'm laughing. I mean, I'm not part of that joke, right? And, you know, like joke, we put it in writing. We sent it in. I want you to understand this. This is an industry where we've been invited, and some of the top firms come. I still remember one transaction, many actually, where some same big names at the table. And I remember one, they said, you know, but these people didn't charge anything. I'm like, but they aren't me. They aren't Fine and Country West Africa. And certainly Okonjo is not the MD. So we put in $1 million. Well, we paid $1 million. Does someone want to ask? Well, we paid $1 million. The joke is on them. We weren't paid $1 million. Neither were we paid 100 or 200. We were paid more than that. If you cannot say $1 million with a straight face, you are not ready to command superior value. I want us to stop right now. Listen, I have a bill in my wallet. It's $1 million. It is a bill that Robert Allen, my real estate mentor, gave to me in South Africa. I paid ticket $2,500 to go and attend the event, $3,500 in Sandton in Johannesburg to be in his presence. In that event, he took me aside just to hear my story, how I read his photocopied book, Nothing Down and Creating Wealth. Took a video of me sharing that story. Why do I share that? I share that to say that $1 million, I still have it. I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to put it on my Instagram page so you guys can see it. It's now torn up. He signed it. So listen, you cannot command superior value if you're in the wrong places, if you're not investing to be in the right places. It's the people, it's the principles and the places. The same principles. If it wasn't Fela that was doing this and it was somebody else that was doing it, I'm not going to be sharing these figures. I'm not going to be sharing at this. I've come at my highest. I'm opening it up to you guys because he is superior value. And therefore, I know that anybody that's connected to him in his circle is superior and is ready for that. So maybe it's not $1 million for you. Maybe it's 10 million. Heck. I've taken a marital wealth class in some church, and I remember telling the couples, write the figure, bring out your checkbook, and write that check to yourself. And how many years later, so one of the guys came up to me and said, Mrs. Okonjo, I have to share this with you. And he began to share how he and his wife wrote that check that day in that seminar. I said, take the stage, Lord. It's not about Udo Okonjo, guys. It's about you being a divine wealth carrier. It's about you coming into the place of prominence where you're sought after. You're not chasing clients, so that when they ask you, you keep a straight face and you tell them what your bill is. Multiply it by 10 and let them negotiate from there. And if you land on the top of a 10-story building, you are higher than somebody who gave an offer at 1-story building. It takes confidence. It takes knowing who you are. It takes power. The zone of prominence is the place where you are referred by mega clients to other mega clients. When we got the Civic Tower that belongs to Mr. Jimovia, yes, I'll mention the names because most of you can refer to this, and these are public projects, including in his book. That project is there. On our pages, it's there. These are public. When it comes to individual, like, private sort of residential, I wouldn't call names. But when it comes to public commercial buildings, I can give you reference points. It's from that project that we were referred, and another called us. I remember looking, there was a tower coming up in Victoria Island. We kept seeing it. We're like, who owns this project? We must get on it. And I was trying to get a friend to refer and to introduce. Listen, guys, the wrong people are not going to be able to refer you. And Fela was saying this already to you, right? And so this friend, I was like, oh, she was pretty busy being all funny. Keep your friends at the mega level, guys, please. So that they're in a position to make those connections. Make sure you're also worthy of being referred, as it were. They didn't have what it took to make that connection. I was asking in the wrong place. Guess what? Believe it or not, at that dinner table, I get a call from my chief of staff saying, oh, these people have been calling you from this brand new tower. It's been built by Julius Berger. This is the tower that we've been looking for. They came, and guess who gave them our contact? It came through this other mega client. And I can literally tell you every defining, game-changing, those towers that line the skies of Ikoyi and Victoria Island that we've been involved in. And I tell you that easily 40% to 50% of the top luxury residential, which is the space where we play, we get called for minimum 70% of them. And on the average, we're commanding at least 50%, even in the commercial space that we only started 5-6 years ago. It starts from the base. These are things that are verifiable. All those projects that I'm referring to, there's none of them that we were paid anything less than $200,000 as fees, just to hear what is the direction. Guys, listen, this week alone, including today, at the level of prominence, you are getting the calls. Including today at 2 p.m., I get a call from the MD of one of the big companies, listed companies. Or we have this client who's looking and it's like, who else? Whenever you start hearing who else, you know you've hit the zone of prominence. You want to hear that all the time. You bring it even into negotiations. And you come back again to the profit zone, because when it's who else, when you're sought after, you should use that mindset. Don't bring humility into the place. When someone has told you who else, then you now come and be quoting what? $1,000, $2,000. Why? And so I give you these examples to say you want to get to the place of prominence, but what does it take? It's not shaking a bomb or dancing. I dance on Instagram, but hey, as much as I dance on Instagram, I know the kind of dance that I do. My dance is very deliberate. 80% of how I'm showing up is in the right places. What I do, 90% of it I can't show online. And I'm not interested in showing it online because I don't know how many people online can pay me $1 million or $100,000. So decide where you need to play and where your platforms of authority need to be. It's not everywhere and everyone that it carries that high value. So where are you showing up? It takes intelligent development to get to those places. If you're looking to speak, you're looking to teach, you're looking to expand your, I look at the time, I feel like I need to stop. I hope that I've delivered value. I want to make sure, I want to stop now, FD, so that I can take questions. And if you want, I can wrap up with, do a 10-minute or 15-minute wrap up. But I really just want to make sure that I'm not just like, go, right? I want to make sure that this is connecting to what we're here for. This is about you once again. I'm just going to remove that screen so I can see everybody. What I'm saying in summary is that if you want to position as a premium brand in your industry, you got to position first in the zone of possibilities. Purpose, power, profit, prominence is a place where a lot of people got nothing to show. It's not that they don't have the value, they just haven't been taught how to curate that value and how to convert it, okay? In the right places, at the right time, in the right way. I gave you the examples, I gave you the referrals, I even mentioned some names, many names I can't mention, but I can tell you the only way I can refer to it is that at some point in defining my USP, I'm like, hey, I didn't do New York Bar for nothing. I wasn't the best female student for nothing. I'm not a Shivling scholar for nothing. I am going to serve the top 1%. And so while Fine and Country serves the top 15%, I, Okonjo, I show up for the top 1%. It's because I defined it at the level of purpose. And I know that it's not just because I want to serve the 1%, it's because I understand my calling is not just in real estate. I know how I'm being positioned such that I have access to certain types of people. And I can pull the wealth of experience that I get there into my other places where I'm showing up. I understand that role. And so I define it. And so I'm deliberate about it. You cannot command premium value if you don't know when to say no. You can't take every business and say you're commanding premium value. There are times you're going to say no to certain deals. You have got to learn to say no to the ones that don't shape up to your definition that you've done based on your USP. Who are you best configured to serve? And it's okay. People say that your service or your offering is whatever. It's okay. You cannot be serving everybody and be telling me you're commanding premium value. The very nature of premium is exclusivity and elusivity or elusiveness. And of course, some people are called to the masses, and that is great. Then your model must be configured in order to extract the wealth from that mass opportunity. There is a model for every kind of business such that you can still get the premium, but the premiumness is in your model. I hope that this is making sense. So I want to share one last example and then I'll hand it over to Fela. A few weeks ago, I was in a negotiation. This is why your USP is important. and why you've got to own it, know it, own it, and learn how to share it, especially at the profit zone. The profit zone is whenever you're at the table doing business. Profit zone is wherever you are communicating your service, or you're negotiating, or you are transacting, trading. And they said to me, you know, we cannot blah, blah, blah. Everybody else has signed this. I'm like, excuse me, everybody else? And I stopped. At times like this, you know, my accent changes. I like, you know, you take a seat, let's practice it. Just sit up, guys, because you have to learn this thing, right? You just, you know, just move your shoulder, you know, you do that, whatever. And I just said, I'm not everybody else. And this is how I leaned in, because it was on Zoom. I'm not everybody else. And then I smiled. The meeting ended. They said they'll get back to me. We had the meeting the next day. I thought it was going to take a week. They said, actually, you are right. Tell us what you want. Because you really are not everybody else. But listen, guys, it's not just because I said it. I gave them 3 solid reasons why I was not everybody else. When they came back, they gave me 3 more in addition to the ones I gave them. And you know what? And this is where, FD, I'm at your service. If you decide to do a 1,500 inner circle level for this, I'm going to come and I will do it for free for you. Let's be real about this stuff. Let's begin to unearth real gold. Because there's a pattern to this, there's a methodology. Because I don't want people to just take the principles and let's wow ourselves out of this place. And it's all like, hey, whatever, whatever. Guys, there is stuff. There's a way to this. I've documented for years. There are times I'll be sleeping, I'll get a blueprint and I'll go and write it down. And I use it. And it's when I use it that I get the results. You can't get premium value from copycat blueprints, from blueprints that don't connect with your core, from blueprints that don't emanate from the place of your base, which is the place of your purpose, who you are. That's why you have to connect these principles to you, your unique self and your unique business. Some of you are in the wrong businesses. Some of you are in businesses, but your model is wrong for who you are. You're serving the wrong people in the wrong way. FD, over to you. Take the stage, Lord. Have your way.
I haven't been short of words. I have heard of many other people speak about how they've been short of words, but I'm sure if you go and listen to me in all the 5 days we've had for this particular one, I haven't said I'm short of words. I haven't said that. Elizabeth says this is beyond words. Chaka says speechless. Guys, I think that before we even take a few questions, and you guys know how we play it, right? First and foremost, I want us to find a way to express appreciation for what we have heard so far. I mean, Michael says, mad, my brain just got bigger. Dr. Chi says, my brain is blown. I think what you really did was you deconstructed all the pillars that had been holding our minds at one particular level and reconstructed a new set of pillars that today have now formed a completely different zone of possibilities for everyone who's listening, including myself. And you literally built just a completely new scaffolding for us. And, you know, Joy says, stretch. Mary says, I am in awe. UMO, none of these words that are being said here are for flattery. Neither is it for, you have already come into your place. You're settled. in knowing who you are. No one is trying to flatter you here. It's authentic, true, genuine feedback. But this is the big idea. Like you have heard, Okonjo is not impressed with how impressed you are.
Mm.
She's impressed with the results that you are going to be able to produce from the impact that you have encountered in the time of her giving. That's the point. You know, wonderful words, magnificent, all of those things, fantastic, brilliant, thank you, bless your heart. But you produce 10 times your earnings, and I'm sure she would thank you for producing 10 times your earnings from the sacrifice that she's made to be here today. So I need some commitments. I need somebody to make a commitment based on and please look, follow Mrs. Okonjo on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is there. You can click on it. You just Okonjo is I believe it's her handle.
Can I stop you for just 1 second? I'm sorry. Can I just say that? Thank you, Chiamaka, for doing that. And I don't want to pull you out, but this is not the time for that. Like, honestly, this is kind of what I was saying. This thing of we're gonna go for the low currencies. I'm not looking for the follows. It'd be amazing to be connected with you guys. I feel like I'm part of this tribe already. So, you know, that's like, yeah, I say that because also in business, that's what tends to happen. Coming to this session was, you know, the Holy Spirit dropped in my mind. I mean, I don't know the backgrounds of everyone. Sorry to have jumped in. I need to just share this very quickly. You know, the mess of pottage, where most times we're stopped from that superior value. It's usually because we're going for the mess of pottage. We're looking for those quick wins, and quick wins are great. But remember that superior value is all about, it's about posterity. You know, once you're operating from the place of when, you know, if you cannot operate from a long view, you will always go for a mess of pottage. And mess of pottage is things like, follow me, like, you know, like follow me or like whatever. Yeah, please follow me. That's great. But that's not what this is about.
That's no way. Yeah, no, it's not. Definitely not.
I know you know that, and I know everyone knows that, but I want to pull that out because when they teach.
I love it. No, I think that itself was such a message, a teaching, because many times people settle for that, you know, but I think that the more important thing I wanted to do was to what did you hear? Let's start with that. What did you hear today? What did you hear today? And if Simi can please help me, Simi, are you anywhere around here? Can you just help to read out some of the things that people have heard? Is Simi here, just to be sure? What did you hear? What is the most important thing you've heard so far? And if you can please help me read out what some of the things that people are going to put back out there. Just look through. I've written so much, right? And I'm translating all of that into my iPad, you know. I've written so much, and each one of them was just a statement, just wisdom, raw wisdom, raw, clean, you know, and several things that, for instance, are going to definitely be in my own Monday morning meeting, you know. So, okay, Simi, can you read out some of these things, please?
Yes, I can. So Frederick says the energy you give determines what you get. Low energy, low returns, high energy, high returns. Osai says you can't get superior value from inferior clients. Chiaka says keep your friends at the mega level. Elizabeth says, where are you showing up? Ekwase says brand equals destiny in action. Chioma says that influence is a currency higher than cash. Mary says, do not let your purpose end at the level of purpose. The basis of purpose and power is that it must convert to wealth. Amalola says, you cannot serve mediocre clients and expect superior value. Isopoye says, the unique story life philosophy. David says, asset is wealth. Bukola says, decide where you need to play. Coach Bim says, I need a mega client pathway. Steven says, create mega value on a level that is not common. Bolan says premium position means you are not one of the option, but the option. Adebukola says, influence is a currency higher than the cash. Dr. Chi says, operate from your place of purpose and power. Ngozi says, people, principles, and places must be mega to living a mega life. Yes, I think that's it.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I know we have at least another minute to just hear, because there's so much that was loaded. So people are still loading up as we speak here. Please, let's quickly go.
Okay. Chiaka says, your USP is domiciled in your place of purpose. A says, what is my unique storyline and philosophy? I must understand my story and learn to convert it to profit. Omolala says, okay, Dr. Chi says, don't settle for mediocrity. Adebukola says, I have a mega pathway to mega clients. Coach Bim says, you can only demand rewards for demonstrated superior value. He says, my brand is my destiny in action. NS is when your client says, who else? Tosin says, I must build my platform of authority. Michael says, daily decisions based on philosophy and purpose equals to my brand. Coach Bim says, mediocrity stinks. Chiaka says, there is a system for creating wealth. Joy says, my brand is my destiny in action. Dr. Chi says, energy produces premium results.
All right, thank you very much. All right, one of the ones that I was actually hoping would show up is that you must make sure that your results are recognized, are respected, but are rewarded. And that's extremely important. And there's a positioning that you know, Okonjo has helped us to understand, to making sure that in the place of your purpose and your power, your results are recognized. And it's not going to happen just because you want it. It's going to happen because you make it happen, that they are respected. And we were just talking about not casting your pearls before swines. I mean, we talked about that just earlier today. And more importantly, that they're rewarded. Now, I know that there are quite a number of people who would like to ask questions, and I would like you to please, you know, I want you to sift your question. When Udo Okonjo is here, there are many questions you may want to ask. Think about the one that will give the greatest value for time. You know, so think about the question, and then please ask it, and ask it with the whole of who you are, your person, your you know, bring your power and your energy into even your questioning. As you know, we would only be taking live questions in terms of, you know, from the people who are willing to show up and put up their video, and they are the ones that we can take their questions live. For those who are not in the position to show up, we understand there may be a myriad of reasons, including where you're actually viewing from right now, that may not allow you to show up. But then what you do is please send your questions by chat as a direct message to Simisola. All right. And so we'll take a couple of questions here. Who's going first? Can I see all the hands? Let me also say that priority will be given to those who want to ask their questions live, who are willing to put on their videos. All right. So priority will be given to them first, which means I would take all those people who are willing to go live before I take the written questions. All right. All right. So I can see Choma Moma. Would you please help me highlight Choma? Thank you. All right. Choma, I think you can unmute here.
Hi, fella. Nice to be here. I'm so happy, so super happy I'm here today. It's amazing being here. I'll go straight to my question. Mr. Udo, great to see you and great to be here. I really enjoyed that session. It was amazing. And my question really is, one thing I've struggled a lot with is, just being so sure of yourself. Okay, how much, like recently something happened where this group of women, there was this four-way thing that Fela just showed us. I knew they could afford to do more. I knew who they were. They were prominent women. They were like, oh, come and do this for us. And they were not willing to part considerable value. And I was like, no, this is what I charge. And they went, they went back and forth. It was almost a bit embarrassing. And I said, look, this is what it's going to be. And, just take it or leave it. And they left it. And later on, one of them came back and said, I really wanted you to just do this for them so you could enter into that and they would give you more things and more things will come and bigger things. And I said, for me, I didn't want to give myself that label of this is what she accepts, because next time they will offer that to me. So my question is, did I do the right thing by saying, no, I don't think I want to do that?
Chioma, good to see you. So, I mean, I can answer this as a director, or I can do it as a coaching, sort of on the spot. I'd like you to leave her on, if that's possible.
Okay.
Can we leave her on, please? So I'll just take a minute and just coach her through this question. So I'd like to understand your, do you have any sort of profiling, values, description of what your ideal client is and what your ideal fees are? Because those are some of the things that you will need to, and you must understand the why you said no and said no throughout. Because if you remember, Pela talked about, doing some presentations for free or complimentary as access. And I will give you another example, but I'd be interested, because there's no yes or no, there's no right or wrong. It really is about, the definition, which the same way for humans, for businesses, you also need to have that, right? At the level of purpose is when you define your ideal client, and it's not just saying ideal client, there are many, levels and factors you take into account in describing that. So I'd be interested in knowing, for example, this client, why did you say no? Was it purely the financial consideration? Were there other considerations?
The main thing was the finance. I just felt I didn't want to undervalue myself. And because of the kind of people they were as well, who I thought that this is a group of people who are a bit opportunistic in their dealings generally. I don't want to disclose, but I just feel that people that, regularly take advantage of people. So if I position myself that way for them, for other people I've spoken for free, for some people, I've spoken for that same, the same cost. But for them particularly, I said, these people are people who would take advantage of my pricing. If I say I'm going to accept below my fee, below what I would normally charge for that speaking event. So that was why.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead.
For two things, the cost and also who they were particularly.
Got it. Okay. So I hear you on the part of who they are. It appears that from a values point of view, these are not really people that would fit into your premium lists, right? Because if there are people who take advantage, I remember a client, every time I finished talking to him, I had like neck ache. I had to get my husband to give me a massage. I don't want that client's money. He can keep his money. In fact, the next time he came, I said to him, you know what? I have this friend who is amazing. They will serve you very well. And then I referred them to the people who have the ability to serve clients that give them neck ache, right? Because part of my own value is that I want to work with clients that I actually enjoy working with, okay? Not the ones that will give me baldness at age 50. So it's important to understand that. That said, sometimes our values can put us in a box, right? So I always say, expand your zone of possibilities. Like, what other way could you have worked with these people, right? Under what conditions? Because sometimes someone may be opportunistic, but hey, how about you assessing what are the opportunities in this particular situation? Did you assess the way in which you could work with them in a way, because there are different types of clients. There's your short term, there's medium term, there's long term, there's your ideal. There's the one that's not so ideal. However, depending on what stage and season you are and what else, there are other opportunities in that particular situation. Do you see what I mean? So they're different. We have what we call a gold matrix that we use to assess clients, right? So that each client, if you go into a flight, there's first class, there's business class, there's economy, right? In some cases, premium economy. And you have to be able to determine there are things that go with each of those, right? Sometimes you want some for the volume, for the speed, for the this, whatever. And others, these are your assets, right? So there's no right or, but I'm hoping you've picked up some things in there. Sometimes we're too quick to say, oh, they can't pay, but payment is not the only currency. If you're building for prominence, if you're building for profitability, you must understand the real meaning of profitability. There's cash that you get immediately. There's cash that you lose in the short term because you felt that they're opportunistic, but maybe there are other ways you could have redefined what you're going to do for them within certain boundaries and identify some other opportunities within even people who thought they were going to take advantage of you. Do you see what I mean? So it's about creativity. Otherwise, we become this values-driven poor people.
Okay, so can I say that maybe next time I should take my time to respond and not just be too quick to say, oh, this is what I charge, here's my, my rates, and really take time to see the see everything from a more holistic view of what are the opportunities that lie beyond even that particular engagement.
Absolutely. Questions are the answers. The quality of your questions contribute a lot to your bottom line. I will give you an example. We work for, this is many, many years ago, one of the banks, and at the time we wanted our fees to be $150,000, and other people had paid us that, but they insisted on, I think maybe 60 or 70 or something like that, And I was thinking, oh, if I do it, then it's going to be as though whatever. But guess what? We accepted it and said, we will do these things. We will put our name here. We will do this. I will create certain collaterals. And, it was national. And the value of that was more than what they paid us. And that led directly to the next, right? Till today, there's still people that right now we're negotiating something that's been 2-3 months. And, we're not really budging negotiation is one of my core, superpowers, right? And so I say, if you're not willing to walk away, you're not yet willing to command premium. But you need to understand where and when, in what context to walk away. And don't be so quick to walk away. Most times people walk away because they've not understood how to navigate the options and opportunities, right, within an offer.
Okay.
So the simplest thing is to say, they don't want to pay me, so I'm not going to take it, or they're not paying me at this level, so I won't take it, or, take the low amount. There are always multiple options in there. Yeah.
Thank you. Very helpful. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Udo. And so I will go to Exceptional Ekwase. If I don't see any other hands up, I'm going to be reaching out to Simi to ask if she has. Simi, please confirm to me by chat if you have any other questions written. All right.
Thank
Exceptional Ekwase.
UMO, you rock. A delight and just a privilege to know you.
I'm taking this. I'm videoing this in particular.
I'm Exceptional Ekwase, and thank you so much for that wonderful.
You can't deny you said this.
My question is, what really stops so many people to operate in these zones of possibilities? Is that enemy called FEAR, fear. It prevents them it stops them from showing up. My question is, how can they overcome fear? Thank you.
Okay, I have to record this. Ekwase, I have to be partial. It is my girlfriend. We went to Federal Government Girls College. She's a champion, class of 85. So photo shoot, pose. Let's take this picture for the CO 85. Okay, up then, yes. Awesome. Thank you, Ekwase, for that question. Exceptional, Ekwase. So nobody should be jealous, people, please. It's part of, remember my high story, my storyline, Teddy Ben. So, hey, I'm not going to dismiss it. It's interesting. I wrote, the why, right, in my notes. I hadn't gotten there. Some people don't. And you mentioned the fear. I'm going to share a couple, 3 that I put down, right? And then address it. I put, there's the mistaken belief, sometimes people are like, oh, they're not in the zone of possibilities because they don't have the connections, right? And some people have alluded that, hey, though she's connected, she's whatever. I'm like, first of all, that song, My Papa No Be Dangote, or I did. I'm like, my papa is, do you know who my father is? The head of GOD. Like, honestly, that's all the connection we need, right? But it's one thing to have that connection. It's another thing to actually leave the connection. It's another thing to action. That's why we start in that place of purpose, right? Because honestly, when you understand, because most people talk purpose, but what is purpose? It's a journey. It's a journey of uncovering who you really are and why you should not be afraid, right? So I find that when you come into the zone of purpose properly, if you do it properly, fear diminishes. I used to be the most timid person. At least that's the way I feel, that my timidity gave way largely when I came into the zone of purpose, when I began to understand, and of course to develop. Remember, I gave you example. What will give me the whatever to be able to say $1 million? I had $1 million check in my wallet constantly. I'd gotten used to having $1 million. Where did that come from? It came from a mega coach, mega advisor, mega someone who is in my mega team. Do you get? So what am I saying? Fear can be dealt with by having the right connection, not the connection that people think, not the connection of that, oh, this person, your father, or this person, whatever. It is one, knowing that God is on your side and truly believe in it, honestly. Like when I see it, I have these clients, these top 0.1%, sometimes they're like, one of them said to me, and I've mentioned the name this evening, you're different. There's something about you. Of course, I know what it's about me. It's because I've been cooked. And I know where I've been cooked. Every one of us has to belong somewhere. You can't be neutral. You can't not have a team. I have a team, right? Like I've got God, I've got Jesus, I've got the Holy Spirit, I've got the whole host of angels. I've got, spiritual counselors. Do you understand? I make when I'm making mega moves, usually it's on the back of a word that I got as a prophetic word, either in church or through, a word that I heard or something. So I'm moving on the basis of something that is tangible, not just because I have an idea. So that's one. Two, I have a mega team, part of my mega team. Even as I sit here today, we say we do Okonjo, I have a coach. I have an executive coach. I have coaches. How many people here have coaches? We say we can't afford it. I tell you in 2022, you can't not afford it, right? Because we're going into an identity economy. And what do I mean by that identity economy? It's that, fear comes from that place of your identity is either broken or not fully understood, not fully leveraged. And it is even in today's world, listen, FD, you were there, earlier this year at the Berkeley Executive Coaching graduation and all of that stuff. Listen, I did that program. I'm 30 years in business, profession, all of that stuff. It's the same thing. Berkeley, Stanford, Harvard, they're all now doing all these things about, listen, it's not about the business principles anymore alone. This is the real deal. Do you see? So fear comes from broken identity, misunderstood identity, not having the right team on your side, not having the people who say you can do it, having that check in my pocket told me I could do it, having somewhere I can go and say, this is what I'm working on, and they say you can do it, or how are you going to do it, and they help you process it. So it's not just a motivational thing of yes, you can. It is ensuring that you have the toolbox, okay? So it is that toolbox that acts as the motivation that gets you moving. If you don't have the toolbox and you have the movement, you are going to fall flat on your face and you won't be able to get up. The difference between those who fall and get up is that those who get up have a map. And so when they lose their way, they look back at the map. That's what your coaches do. That's what your mega friends do. And those, you got to have a mega circle. That's all I'm going to say. Mega circles deal very quickly with this question of fear. If everybody in your circle is playing mini games and minion games, mediocre games, fear games, you're going to have a lot of fear around you, right? Right. So I put why. Mistaken belief, some people, oh, it's gender quota, whatever. It's not about quotas. It's not, how did you get here? You got here because you're brilliant. You got so far. And that's why part of that credibility thing is important. You know, if you're not, you see, I say a lot about gratitude, victory logs, all these things. It's not just for, it's in business. You have to pay attention to your winning patterns. How did you win? Go back to the ancient pathways and look and extract, audit. It's called intuitive intelligence. And then it gives you a sense of confidence. Without confidence, what are we talking about, right? It's the opposite of fear. So it's not that you don't have fear. Of course, we all have fears. I have fears. I have fears, but I have something that's bigger than fear. I have tools. I have a map. Part of that map is my mindset. It's the correct action. I teach about 5 different types of action: correct action, mega action, fast action, because there's nothing like action to deal with fear. Okay? Consistent action and mega action. Those are the 5 different types of action that people need to learn how to take. Fast action, consistent action, correct action, mega action. Actually have the, whatever, I'll launch it. I'm done. I've answered your question. Thank you very much. I'm back. Wow.
Amazing.
I just want to.
Amazing. And you know, so I had reached out to Simi, and she'd mentioned that, look, literally almost all the questions that had come in around the 2 questions that have been answered so far. And I think that it's such a, really, so is there anybody else who has a final question just before we let,
you can take a snapshot of this.
Lovely. Meaningful. I think that was the last one that you were trying to get.
Yeah.
Meaningful action.
Yeah.
You know, meaningful action. Amazing. I mean, look, first and foremost, let me say a very big, massive thank you to you, Udo, for such indescribable value that you've created today, especially with regards to just stretching the borders and the boundaries of our minds. And the thank yous are really just pouring out. But like I said to everyone, the greatest thank you that I'm sure that Udo requires of us is results.
Yeah.
You know, I know it like I know my name is Fela Drotoe, that there's no bigger response to what she's poured out than for you to take action. And she's worked on the mindset. Now you take action, and let's just go and deliver performance. Let's go and deliver the profits. Let's move up, you know, this zones of possibilities and go from purpose to power, and power to profitability, and profitability to prominence, and all the way through to posterity, where we're building institutions that would outlast us, and so that, you know, and we're building legacy impact. You know, the kind of things that you will do that will stand the test of time. You know, and so we're really grateful, and more importantly, I am very grateful, you know, Udo, for the offer to even share with a very, you know, unique group of people. And you remember that I was sharing with you, I'm not sure if I told you a couple of days ago, that literally we've literally just created a group called the Prestige Circle. And some of you may be hearing this for the first time, but there are some of the members of the Prestige Circle here. And these are a set of people who have themselves said, look, FD, we want to come closer than the unique occasional touch point of, oh, you know, we have one coaching session today. The Prestige Circle is a very small set of 12 people who are experiencing a blended coaching and mentoring session for 3 months. And in doing that, one of the things that we do is to literally sit with them and work with a growth plan. And it's a growth plan that over the next 3 months is starting out at, you know, starting for the growth plan for the first 3 months. The next month, in the second month, we extend that growth plan by another 3 months. So they have a growth plan for 6 months. And then the last one, by the end of the 3rd month, they have a growth plan for a year. And yet, so we create that place where we're meeting with them once every month, and then every other week, we're touching base with them to see how far they've gone on their plan. They have unique access to all our courses, and one of what Udo has literally offered is to say, if you need me to talk to your prestige circle, because it's not for babies, right? It's not for babies at all. And I am so grateful. So some of the members of the prestige circle, you have heard Udo, and we will look, guys. I'm not just going to call her because she said she's ready to give it. No. She's not giving it for free. So the prestige circle has to tell me why we have to convince me as to why we're going to make this happen. And for those who would like to already, the prestige circle is already full right now, but those who would like to probably position for the next cohort, which will be starting in March, we're already taking down your, the orders or the spacing for it now. But like we always said, the people in the prestige circle always have the first right of refusal to be able to decide whether they're coming back into the circle or not. But more importantly, I think that the thing I really wanted to touch on was that I think that there are people here who are ready. And I think you have to be ready for it. There are people here who are ready to be able to say, you know what, Udo Okonjo, I would love to engage with you deeper than what the conversations we've had today. And I say, you guys, sorry, okay, so I've just been corrected. The next circle starts in February because it's December, January, March. And so the next circle starts in February 2022. And if you want to be a part of that prestige circle, you can send Simi a message and say, please, I'm interested. She'll send you all the details and all of that. But you do this amazing, amazing program where you, like what, when we were talking about what you're doing and what we're doing and how we're literally off feeding each other. You have a similar group of mega thinkers that you are building. It's an inner circle of mega leaders in their industries. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Udo? This incredible team of people that you're bringing together in a circle. And I just want you to please talk about that, please.
FD, thank you so much. First of all, I want to say I thoroughly actually enjoyed doing this. I feel grateful whenever I am in a place of purpose, whenever I'm in a position where I know that the people there are the right people. And I just know that the people here are the right people. I know that everyone in here is here on an appointment, and I don't say that lightly. Before I speak about what you've asked me to, I want to speak about what you are doing in terms of the mastermind, because that's what it is. I want to say that, please, if you're here, make sure you join a mastermind. Those who are part of the prestige circle, which is a mastermind, please go and check out Napoleon Hill, go and check out all the top people. Your game doesn't change until your circle changes. If you want your game to change, you've got to make some game-changing moves. Unfortunately, most times we ask the wrong questions. Can I afford it? It should be, how can I make it happen? It should be, who do I need? What do I need? What sort of people, what sort of places, what sort of platforms do I need if I want a game-changing move in my life? I don't say that lightly. I say it because I have seen the pain of people staying at the same level year in, year out. The misery that comes from it doesn't stop at the people who experience it. It passes on to your family, to your children. They feel the pain of your not attaining your potential. They feel the pain of your painful staying at the same level or making incremental progress when you can actually make what I refer to as mega progress, exponential progress, the sort of progress that can change, that people will actually look for you. I remember one year, my friends were like, oh, we're coming to visit, we're coming to, I'm like, wrong address. We're no longer at that address. Next year, I need you to change your game so dramatically that people are going to the wrong address. The reason why it's important that if you, next year, you don't have 90% of people going to the wrong address, it means you've not moved. If people are still seeing you, looking for you, searching for you in the same circles where you belonged in 2021, in 2020, when COVID was on, and you're going to come into 2022 in the same place, please do yourself a favor. Those who are already in the prestige circle, listen, I talk about proximity, the price, pay the price, right, of mega relationships. Price, P in the price stands for proximity. It's not enough to be there, right? The R is in the relationship and the relevance. So at some point, you have a certain level of relationship, maybe in 2021. But after this, imagine the kinds of conversations that you will have in that circle if you are part of it next year, right? The I in price now stands for intimacy and intentionality. Your intention in 2021 is different from that when you enter the same circle or stay there. And then the intensity, how long you stay in that relationship. So what I find, and for me personally, it's what's made me stop doing certain things. I found that many people want to dabble. Many people want shallow relationships, right? You know, you come for 2 days, 3 days, 1 month. When you journey with people and hey, hello to my ACE Mastermind, those who are here, we just finished our 6-month journey this November. You know what that relationship looks like when you journeyed with somebody for 6 months, for 1 year, okay? And then you embark on a new dimension. So that's my long way of saying, prestige circle or whatever else you need to join, please make sure, because your circles determine your altitude. It will fast track. If your relationship is not fast tracking and is not expanding, you're in the wrong circle, okay? As far as what I do, there are 2 core areas where, as most of you know, real estate is my core business. It's my core zone of power. And, you know, my leadership and executive coaching, mainly in the business arena, is really focused on those 2 core areas. The ACE leadership, which is the ACE Mastermind, which is really where it's all about the high impact leaders. So people who want to operate in that zone of prominence, okay? And you want to boost, as it were, your profitability as a leader, okay? Building that leadership asset. And then the new one that is being launched, I did it 5 years ago. I haven't had the time, you know, for it. And I'm launching it this December for 2022, is the Mega Business Growth Mastermind, okay? And that is really on your business for those who obviously want to take their business mega. That's really all I can say. I can share the details later. I really want to work with high impact entrepreneurs who are building high value businesses, wherever you are, Nigeria, the UK, the US, doesn't matter. I'm working with people from wherever. And yes, I'm really excited about it. And, you know, as I will be coming back to Prestige Circle to come and share, listen, at a certain level, you don't sell, you know, you're soft out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say, indeed, you are one of the greatest gifts that God has blessed me with. And I'm sure I can speak to many. This is one of the best gifts that we've received this year. Udo, I cannot quantify the value of the impact that you've made on me personally and on the team tonight. And I want to say thank you. You heard many people, and you read it probably from the court chat, you know, there was a sense of people saying, we will not let you down. And I love that. When people receive something that they can see this is a gift from God, and they are making a covenant, a personal covenant, to say, we're going to use this, and we're going to have testimonials about it. We're going to say, you know, I tell people, not everything that happened in your past is history. History was things that happened in the past that shaped your future. And I know that tonight is historical for many people, because in a way, tonight is really a game-changing night. And there had been a build-up all leading to this point. But I kind of like just see how God, through the power and also through the gift of wisdom, had us position each, it was like line upon line, precept upon precept. I really can't tell that it could have been, anything else that we could have done today. And I want to say thank you. I want to say God bless you and honor you. And I want to say, we just love you. We totally love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for being our radiant queen. Thank you for amazing.
I brought my crown. If you guys give me 3 minutes, I want to wrap this up.
Please. And I know that you wanted to also just wrap up. You had said when you were done, you wanted to wrap all of this together, almost like a final word. And it can take 3 minutes, can take 10 minutes, whatever is in your heart. I just want you to just do it the way you want to do it, and wrap it up as you wish.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll take 5 minutes. So here, everyone, you may not have a physical crown, but I just want you, I know I've been spotlighted, but I like to see everyone. So I'm going to change my own screen so I can see everyone. So, you won't have this, but just do this, please, for me. Take your 2 hands up. I just want, I feel like, you're being crowned today, okay? I want you to assume you're being crowned. Just put your 2 hands, do that, okay? Just adjust your crown. Adjust your crown, because we're going to make a pledge now. We're going to do a declaration, and I want to make sure that you're ready. Take a minute, just, take a deep breath in. I truly believe what FD said about a covenant, about, coming into a new place today. So just adjust your crown, yeah. I see, is that IJ, Ajayi or IJ? Yes, Justin has. And yes, Stephen, everyone, fantastic. So do that, just adjust your crown, and then just square your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Let's really take a breath. Okay, so one more time, deep breath in. Awesome. I see Ene and her scarf. Amazing. Okay. All right. I really I know that today is divine, and the 6 days have been divine. I have an assignment, and I thank God for giving me the grace to bring you the blueprint that He wanted me to share with you. Let's wrap this up. A lot has been said, a lot still can be said. I will come on the Prestige Circle if FD invites me to come and support that journey, okay? I know what my calling is. I know what my work is. So let's do this. It's the Go Mega Business Declaration. Can you all hear me do this? Let me know that your hands are ready with your crown. Have been fantastic, awesome. So let's do this. I'm going to put on my glasses, right? And so as I say it, what I'd like you to do is just put the words that come out to you as your way of affirming it in the chat box. Ideally, if we're in a physical room, I'd have you repeat it after me. But for the purpose of this, you can affirm it in writing or just say it where you are. So let's go, okay? This blueprint, the Go Mega Business Workbook, was the blueprint that I received. Remember, I shared with you how you have to template, transfer what you receive based on your USP, into something that you trade with, okay? That's the place of you converting into value. So this affirmation and declaration is something that I use in business. I've been using it for years, and I've also been teaching people as part of coming into that place of being a premium. And when you hear the words, you will understand that these words put you in that place firmly. So let's go. I, then you insert your name, commit to going mega. I have what it takes to succeed. I am loaded with the right skills to take new territories. I have the ability, the power, and the configuration to accomplish mega goals. I may be afraid, but I am not fearful. I have an absolutely sound mind. I have eyes that see new opportunities. I have ears that hear and receive good news. I am daily becoming the kind of person that attracts mega opportunities. Kings, queens, captains of industries, influencers are attracted to me and my business. I'm going to say that again. Kings, queens, captains of industries, influencers are attracted to me and my business. My name is being mentioned for outstanding opportunities. This has been my reality, and this is your reality from this day forward. I am rising into new levels. I am coming into a new position in my industry. I am a leader. I have incredible insight. I control mega resources. Ideas flow towards me daily. I have uncommon clarity. I visualize the future with a confident expectation. I work daily, building the future I desire and expect. I have the best talents working for me and alongside me. I have access to world-class mentors, advisors, and coaches. I commit daily to personal and professional development. I am confident. I am excellent. I am committed. I am diligent. I am exceptional. I am mindful of my time and I use it productively daily. I am mindful of my environment. I reject forcefully and unequivocally any type of mediocrity. I nurture only valuable and empowering relationships. I am a person of limitless potential and value. I recognize my value, and the world, especially my target clients, recognize it too. I offer unrivaled value. Unrivaled value. I make no excuses. I am committed to results. I exceed expectations. I raise my standards daily. I am recognized, I am respected, and I am rewarded on a mega level. I compete against no one but myself. I am paid for my services on time and without drama. I owe no one anything but a debt of love, service, and value. I am debt-free. I pay when I owe, on time and without drama. I am a person of integrity. I'm a person everyone wants to do business with. I decide who I want to serve. I am not desperate. I am 100% confident that I can deliver at the highest level. The future belongs to me because I'm competent, I'm excellent, I am authentic, I am confident, and I stand out from the crowd of the mediocre majority. I, put your name, this is our last statement. I would like, if it's possible, to unmute everyone at this point. This is my last statement and I'm out of here. I want to hear everybody's name. It will be a cacophony, but that's okay. Please unmute everyone. Let the heavens hear you this evening. Now listen, you can say it, it's okay. You're the one hearing it. Before you say what I want you to say, and I'm just gonna say what we're gonna say, I'll say it for you to say. Your name, I'm a mega person. person doing mega business with mega people in 2021
Mega
beyond.
Mega business. I am a mega in 2020. Mega
mega businesses.
Amazing. Okay, so let's stop now. So I wanted to hear your voices because I want you to know that heaven is hearing your voices. Okay, you are mega people doing mega business with mega people.
I am mega.
This year and beyond. And so, was I talking all this time and you didn't hear me?
No, we could hear
Just
you.
one
We just
second.
needed,
Okay.
once you were done with the calling of names, we needed to just, so that we could hear you, because whilst, yes, so now we can hear.
So I just wanted to make the last pronunciation to say, you are mega people doing mega business with other mega people in this year 2021, 2022, and beyond. And so shall it be. It cannot, please adjust your crown as I say this, it cannot be otherwise. For we have spoken it, we have declared it, we will walk in it in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. For you are priests and kings, and you will operate in that dimension, in the dimension of purpose, power, profitability, prominence, leading to posterity, so that your Father can say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Well done, thou mega child of God. It's a wrap from me. God bless you.